On January 15, 1919, a 25-foot wall of liquid struck Boston's north end with enough kinetic force to crush buildings, snap steel railway structures, and drown 21 people in suffocating paste. The lethal weapon wasn't water, oil, or fire. It was 2.3 million gallons of boiling industrial molasses. That morning, the temperature in Boston surged from 2 degrees Fahrenheit to over 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside a 50-foot-tall steel cylinder on Commercial Street, the rapid heating caused internal fermentation gases to expand violently. Built in a rush by the United Industrial Alcohol Company to distill spirits before Prohibition, the tank groaned continuously. Leaks were so severe that local children scooped brown sludge off its sides with tin cups. Then, at 12:40 p.m., the structural steel violently failed. Witnesses heard rapid-fire pops, like machine gun fire, as thousands of steel rivets burst free. A split second later, 12,000 tons of syrup burst out at 35 miles per hour. Because molasses weighs nearly 12 pounds per gallon, almost 50% heavier than water, it struck like a solid battering ram. As the warm syrup hit the freezing winter air, it cooled instantly into a thick, suffocating quicksand. For the people caught in its path, survival was a matter of brutal luck. Martin Clafferty, asleep in bed, woke up as his house was lifted off its foundation, throwing him into a cold, suffocating sea of brown sludge. Anthony DeStasio, walking home from school, was picked up by the current and tumbled down the street like a pebble, fighting to keep his mouth clear of liquid that felt like wet cement. Firefighter George Leahy, trapped inside Engine 31's collapsing station, fought to keep his head above the rising syrup while watching the building cave in around his crew. By the time rescuers dug through the cooling sludge with shovels and axes, 21 people were dead and 150 were injured. How one disaster built modern safety laws. Company executives tried to blame anarchist bombers, but a 5-year court battle exposed total corporate negligence. The tank's steel was half as thick as code required, contained dangerous traces of manganese, and was never water tested before being filled. Beyond the landmark $628,000 settlement, $11+ million today, this tragedy fundamentally reshaped modern infrastructure and municipal oversight. Mandatory engineering seals. For the first time, state laws mandated that a certified registered professional engineer, PE, must review and stamp all structural designs before construction can begin. Public building inspections. Municipalities across the U.S. overhauled their building departments, establishing routine, independent safety audits for industrial storage and commercial developments. Strict industrial liability. The legal precedent established that companies are strictly liable for damages caused by hazardous materials stored on their land. Echoes in modern infrastructure. A repeating pattern. Visual. Split screen comparing archival footage of the 1919 cleanup with news archive clips of modern industrial failures, the 2014 Flint water crisis, the 2021 Champlain Towers collapse in Surfside, and the 2023 East Palestine derailment. The disaster in 1919 was not an isolated chapter in history. It established a template for corporate negligence that echoes in modern headlines. The 2021 Surfside condominium collapse. Structural warnings and deferred maintenance reports were ignored for years to avoid costly repairs, resulting in 98 deaths when the building suddenly failed. E-2023 East Palestine train. Derailment. Axle overheat sensors failed on a 150-car freight train carrying hazardous chemicals after years of industry lobbying reduced crew sizes and delayed mechanical safety upgrades. The Flint water crisis. Cost-cutting administrative decisions led to untreated, corrosive, water-degrading municipal pipes, exposing tens of thousands of residents to lead contamination. In every century, the root cause remains identical. When speed, profit margins, and deferred maintenance override engineering standards, disaster becomes a matter of time. Quick recap. On January 15, 1919, disaster struck the North End neighborhood of Boston, Massachusetts. A massive tank burst open, releasing 2.3 million gallons, or roughly 12,000 tons, of industrial molasses. The liquid swept through the streets at 35 miles per hour. The tragic surge resulted in 21 deaths and over 150 injuries. An investigation later revealed the primary structural causes of the failure: substandard steel thickness, improper chemical composition in the metal, and a total lack of safety testing before filling the tank. In response, the catastrophe established a major modern precedent, giving rise to mandatory professional engineer approval stamps and strict corporate liability laws across the United States.